Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a good day today and all of your games in the Duelist Cup are going really well. Actually, I just want to quickly show you, I've had 10 wins in a row. I've been very, very lucky recently. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. And then I had a loss here. So yeah, I've had 10 wins in a row. If you want to see the deck list, so I'm clicking on the wrong things here. It's the same as before. Again, this is a flex spot, and look, you don't have to play these, but if you're interested, go check out the video and then you can see why I play this. I'm definitely going to still be playing this until, like I said before, until I see it affect me negatively, and it has to be significant. If it's just a few brick games, I can handle that. I usually brick anyway with this decks, but this kind of particular is fun to play going first especially, so I'll see how it goes in the round 2, but the purpose of this video is I've had a few lucky games to show. When I say lucky, I mean I'm lucky that I'm even getting the gameplay to show you against Kashtira. So 2 of them are because Nibiru is just a fantastic cantrap, and I'll narrate that in a second, but the other 3 games, 2 of them are just showcasing gameplay against Kashtira, where it's going first and we don't get to actually build an end board, so just showcasing how you should really play against them, and I'll walk you through the decision making. And then the last one is just a nice bonus game because I think my opponent, maybe he's just tired, but he made some awful decisions and he beat me with what I would consider the worst hand draw I've had for a long time. So without further ado, I'm just going to show you the replays now. So for the first replay, firstly I have to apologize. This is all on video player, media player or video player, one of them, just because I always save my replays in case I lose them to the 24-hour, system that Master Duel has. And this duel is actually before the Duelist Cup anyway, so that's hence, I think that was a good few days ago now, so I would have lost this replay, and I don't like to lose replays because this one by itself was not going to give, a great representation against Kashtira. But if I, like I've done now, play a few more games, get the gameplay going, I can actually put them all together, and then it at least supports the statement and argument that I'm putting forward. So without further ado, I'll just jump straight into it. Also, very quick, I really wanted to use film and TV, or the other one is like Windows Media Player, but I don't know. I don't like the way Windows Media Player looks, the interface, and films and TV does not show up on OBS. So if someone could tell me why, maybe I'm a little bit brain dead here, but if someone could tell me why, or has a better application for uploading the videos, please just let me know. I'm more than happy to sort of explore different options. But yeah, like I said, yeah, sorry, it's on Media Player. And as you can see here, look, I've drawn Nibiru, hence the focus of this video. He's committed to his first, normal summon to get the field spell. And I don't really have anything else to interrupt, so all I can do is let him, summon and wait for the perfect moment to, activate Nibiru. Now, 2 things. One is you want to wait for your commitment to Nibiru until they either use Rise Heart and then you're sure, or take the gamble that they don't have Kashtira Birth in hand, or, which is the better option, but more riskier, wait till they use Kashtira Birth, because then they cannot special summon anymore. The only thing they could special summon is Telements, Kashtira or the Scareclaw one, and from there, it's a pretty shit end board, I'm not gonna lie, it's very weak. So, and they've already exhausted so many materials, so it'd be very lucky for them to have that. So look, as you can see here, look, I commit to Nibiru now, completely wipes the board, and look, he ends his face there. The other thing I was going to say is Nibiru, the reason why it's so good, so I didn't really, encourage this card as much as I am right now, just because I wasn't really thinking about the full power of this card against Kashtira. Kashtira are not the archetype type of deck to play negates. The only thing that they have that could, stop this is Crossout Designator, or Baron de Fleur if they choose to summon it, but he committed to the field spell from Pathfinder, so that play was completely gone from there. And the only thing else that they could have, but they would never do, okay, because Kashtira players don't really play Book of Eclipse, and the reason why that's so relevant is because if you didn't know, you can protect your monsters from Nibiru by using Book of Eclipse, because it flips them all face down, and look, you can see that from the effect, you contribute as many face-up monsters on the field as possible. So obviously for link monsters this does not apply, but if you want to protect yourself from Nibiru, you can just flip down all your monsters, and yeah, Nibiru is inactive now, it doesn't work. It still stays in the hand, so if you do try to summon 5 again, yeah, good luck. But just know that for future, like if you're in a game state where you need to protect yourself, then yeah, this is your way out. So without further ado, like I've Nibiru'd him now. He's got a really bad end board, and like, I've got Crossout Designator anyway, so I can securely go into the rest of my plays, and he gives up anyway, so easy done. But yeah, as you can see, this is before the Duelist Cup. I keep saying Duelist Nexus, I don't know where I'm getting Nexus from, but yeah, this is before Duelist Cup. So on to the next video. Now, in replay number 2, look, it's a very similar case again of Nib versus Cash, because this is basically, it's not really Mathmech 2 involved here. So let me let it go to full screen. I'll just walk through it. Standard as always, just let them summon, keep going. And in this case, I don't think I let him get to a Kashtira buff. I think to myself, I'm not sure he has it, because I feel as though he would have used it a little bit earlier, just based on the cards he was using. So yeah, he has Rise Heart. Remember to commit after Rise Heart minimum. It has to be. Otherwise, they can just keep playing. And then look, okay, I don't even let him, banish a card. So completely end the board, and what does he do? He does nothing. So now he only has the token and 3 cards in hand. Obviously, I don't know what's in hand, and I'm very lucky to pull Diameter. So I can now set up that negate. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just going to go that step further and bring back Sigma based off Diameter's effects, which, you were going to do anyway. And I've set up the Super Factorial for the next turn, should I need it. Now, as you can see what my next play was, the reason I go into Laplation is because, one, yeah, you remove the token, but we were going to do that anyway, it's not a big deal. It has no effect, so it's not going to pose a problem. But 2, I want to rip something from his hand. I want to see if I can rip something that might pose a threat to us. So I think I pull Ghost Ogre, or oh, okay, I pull Ash, which is even better, because if you look at this scenario now, look, I've got cynet mining, and I don't really need it. I can still summon Sigma and go into the standard Parallel Exceed, Update Jammer, Transcode, Access Code, Attack Twice for Game strategy. I can still go for that. But I just thought I wanted to show, I wasn't trying to show off here, I promise. I was just trying to showcase that you can use Code Generator to boost Access Code to 10,600 by milling multiplication from his effect. And the reason why I do this is because in the case that he did bring on, let's say, Kashtira Scareclaw or something, I don't know, like a Bestial as an example, although it's not as relevant for this, I could destroy it, and then the 10,600 damage is so much enough for game. So if he summons something into attack mode anyway, so I still have enough. But I suppose I was showing off, I'm not going to lie, because the situation I'm describing isn't as relevant. But my point is that I could boost the attack in that way if I needed to. Because sometimes summoning, Sometimes summoning Update Jammer to attack twice for game can be a little bit more complicated, or does require more specific materials, whereas I got Code Generator to hand, I can boost my access code into 10,600, and if I can only attack once, I want it to be enough to really, really pack a punch and hit for game. So I just show it here. But one thing you have to be very, very careful about is, so Code Generator's effect is protected by access code, because nothing can respond to access code. However, multiplication is not. So the reason why this poses a threat to us is for 2 reasons, and I'd only really recommend this strat if you're in like a desperate scenario and you're very certain of the game state you're in, and you're certain it will work, or you're willing to take the risk, whatever. But let's say they use Effect Veiler or Imperm on access code token, because they'll be activating it as a response to multiplication. Multiplication has to be activated as soon as it hits the graveyard. It will basically negate access code before multiplication hits, and it will go from 5,300 to 2,300, then times by 2, so 4,600. So it won't even be more than what it is now, and you won't have the effect to delete cards. So it does put you in a really bad position if you're not prepared for it. And it's affected by, it's affected by Call by the Grave as well, because it's no longer protected by access codes, non-response effects basically. So just be careful of that, and don't always commit with the Code Generator play. I think in this case I just wanted to showcase it, and to be honest I didn't even get to, because my opponent decided, oh it's not me, sorry, this is the replay. Yeah, I think this is when I was just playing through the games and grinding through. But yeah, that's the end of that replay, and yeah, on to the next one. Okay, so this is replay number 3. We're actually going to get some gameplay here. I think I go first in this one. Yep, I do. Now, I wanted to really highlight this one because we were put in a very, very bad case. So I go to Special Sigma, which you see now, and then he Dimension Shifters, which in my opinion is just as bad as Maxxx, if not, oh, maybe not just as bad, because he won't get that 1 draw for card economy, but we cannot play through it regardless, because, well, it's just pointless trying to build a board when everything gets sent to the graveyard. Now, just quickly, I wanted to highlight why I let this go through. So some may question why I didn't just ash this, but the reason why I thought it was best to leave this alone is because, so if you read this effect here, any damage your opponent takes is half. I have 8,000 life points. It means he's going to need 16,000 attack on board, which is a really, really hefty board, by the way, just to go for game, because Fenrir would banish this, and then it doesn't really matter. He can attack openly, but he would need 16,000 damage on the board. That is really, really hard to get. So honestly, I took the gamble here and thought, you know what, I'll let him draw into what he needs, and then see if I can use Ash to disrupt it, and then kind of let the game sort of take off from there. And everything he drew was very powerful, but unfortunately he had to only pick one. So he picks a Unicorn, very standard. Do not Ash the Unicorn. Again, remember, he might already have these cards in hand, and then it's a waste. Always Ash Kashtira Theosis, because that card is what really sticks into the combo. If he had Rise Heart in hand and Birth, then so be it. But look, in this case, he has nothing. And I don't know why he... So, when a player... when you play against Mathmech, like, I don't understand why a cash player would go for Update Jammer when he can see my extra deck and see that I only play 1 access code and 1 terahertz. I would just get rid of one of those and then get rid of the other in the next turn, because it's inevitable that we're gonna, you know, summon a activate a monster effect. So I just thought it was really, really strange that he went for that play. And then his end board is terrible. So we've managed to play it, and now we're playing under Maxxx, unfortunately. So I think to myself, I've got no choice but to commit, because I don't know what else he has here. Turns out he has Book of Moon, and he's gonna banish something from my extra deck, and now he has no choice but to choose. So again, in this particular scenario, because he chose Update Jammer on 1 turn, I would have at least went for Terahertz on the second one, because I've used Circular, so it's very clear he doesn't know this deck, and now I can only attack with 1 monster this turn. I have Multiplication in hand. Obviously he wouldn't know that, but my point is that it's impossible for me to shoot for game if he gets rid of Terahertz. So I was very surprised he was just going for a very simple OTK line, like the simplest. Anyway, look, he flips down Circular, which I think was a very good decision. And I thought, you know, I'm going to use Alan Bershin to tribute Circular, bring out Mathmech Multiplication, so at least I can go for that double shoot for game. And I'm not going to lie to you, I just took a gamble because, look, I'm under Maxxx. I have no choice but to just try and play through. And it worked. He didn't draw into any negates. And then I go for Transcode, bring back Splash Mage, and then the 3 of them I can use to make Terahertz. Now, I just want to highlight something very quick here because it is very important. So I'm going to show, yeah. So I've used Multiplication from the field. I didn't mill it underneath Terahertz ability, which means that he's not going to go from 3,000 to 5,500 and then double it to 11,000. He would go 3,000 to 6,000, and unless I mill something, which usually we wouldn't, we try to save it for the battle phase because ideally we want to be protected from all monster effects. So Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre, I can't think of anything else that would, you know, as a hand trap would affect Terahertz except for those 2 because it's the main phase. But I have to send something because if I do, so yeah, if I do 6,000 and then plus the 2,500 from whatever I mill in the battle phase, that's 8,500 attack, and it's not enough to go for game. Look, I'm under Maxxx. Look how many cards he has. You think he hasn't drawn the out for what would essentially be the 4th turn. So yeah, I have no choice but to go for game here. So I decide to mill something here. Now this is where he makes a mistake. He has to summon the Scarecrow Kashtira in the main phase. Nothing against that. But because he did it in a chain reaction to my Terahertz, I now get to choose what I send to the graveyard. And of course I'm going to mill Aggregator because I can now negate this. And now I have a free shot. It's easy as that. I don't know how Kashtira's effect... So if you don't know, Kashtira Scareclaw, it negates the effect of any monster that attacks or goes into battle with one of your Scareclaw or Kashtira monsters. So in the battle phase, I'm not sure which effect takes precedent, whether it's the Scareclaw Kashtira or if it's Terahertz, because Terahertz also negates any effects, but I don't know if that's activated effects. Either way, I didn't have to go through it because I sent Aggregator for cost. And then, yeah, look, shot for game. Like, amazing noise to hear all those, you know, cards he got from Maxxx. So I thought this was a very good victory, and I think we played it perfectly. But on to the last actual replay, and then I'm going to show you a bonus replay. So finally, we are on our last replay. So it's only minute 36. I'm sure you can bear through it. Now, I am going second here. I can't really remember the game state of this. I have Nibiru in my hand, so I'm assuming that I Nibiru him. No, never mind. I remember this one. So I have no cards that have interrupted him. I don't use Infinite Impermanence, and I don't know why, but my opponent did not go into the full combo. I believe he had all the necessary cards to do so, but decided not to. So I don't really understand what happened there, but Nibiru is now out of play. I have 2 deck lockdowns, which is trash. And I've pulled the one Mathmech card you don't want in your hand, Multiplication, every single time. So I'm tempted to like play a few of these, I'm not going to lie, just to like make the likelihood that I draw it a little bit less. Because I know that's not how it works, but I don't know why, but I have a placebo about when you have one card, like a one of something, you tend to draw it the most. And I don't know why that is. Again, luck and bad luck, but it just happens to me all the time. That's why I don't play Gamma, because of the frame driver. That card is so annoying to see in hand, so I don't play it. But anyway, look, I go into the standard, you know, access code under Update Jammer, attack twice for game. And because I've negated Shangri Era, he won't be able to detach materials to, you know, protect himself. And then for a little bit more spice, I just wanted to showcase something that my opponent tried to do, and that the replay is not going to be able to show. So once I deleted that, I immediately went, okay, I'm going to go main phase into battle phase, And just before I enter the battle phase, he tries to summon Kashtira. So obviously he can, and he did, but he can only do this during the main phase. So I love that Master Duel does this, and I don't know if you know, the TCG and the OCG follow the same ruling, but basically if someone activates an effect between the transition of main phase 1 into the battle phase, you can have the option to stay within the main phase. So the game said, do you want to continue in the main phase? I obviously said yes. I get rid of Scareclaw. Now, even if he had Tearlament's Kashtira, or even another one of these, like I said, he can only activate this once per turn, so summon it this way, and he can only you know, summon Tearlament's the same way during the main phase once per turn. So I had the materials to even get rid of that, and there you go. I shot for game once and he left. So very simple as that. But look, I really hope you learned something valuable from these games, just because, again, with Kashtira, there's only a few ways you can play around them. Like, the game is very based around a simple pattern. Nibiru is going to be a great card that you have against them, as well as Impermanence, but Nibiru obviously is way better. It's really nice to, like, clear the board rather than, you know, just Imperm one monster. In the case where I did just Imperm Shangri-Ira, again, I don't know why he went for that playline. He clearly had the materials to go into further things, but decided to play that anyway. So anyway, on to the last replay, very last replay. This is just a bonus game where my opponent, I'm not gonna lie, he played awfully. Maybe he was having a bad day, but he made 3 awful decisions, and yeah, you get to witness them. Okay, so none other than the bonus game. I decided to actually label it this time. So going into it, you're gonna see my hand is incredible. Obviously, I'm joking. So this is 2 Impermanence and 0 Engine and 0 Support and Super Factorial, which is an absolute brick in my hand. So, yep, I assume this guy's just gonna, you know, combo off and play for game. But I think he thought I was playing Labyrinth, so he tried to play a bit more cautiously. I can understand because I just set 3 in part. And then look, again, look, this is what I'm talking about. I always pull this card, and I don't understand why. Anyway, look, you can see I tried to Maxxx and he called by the Gravelet, so look, its effects are going to be negated for this turn and next turn. Just keep that in mind. And as you see here, okay, so I'm going to let him kind of go into the play. My game plan is to use Nibiru to my advantage and hopefully clear the board, depending on what he summons. And then that's that new Tearlament's Synchro playline. And then this, I have to negate this. I can't let him mill cards and then potentially, you know, go into an effect and also add something to his hand, so definitely negating that. Yeah, can't have it. And then he goes into Baron de Fleur, so definitely a Synchro deck. I obviously go for Nibiru because it's activatable, and I don't care about the effect because I have another Impermanence. How lucky! Like, I have a terrible hand, and then look, he tries to Maxxx me, and as you saw before, he negated it, so he's going to get no draws. We know he's down to 3 cards now. The board has been cleared. Nibiru is once again the victor. And then to top it off, he activates Triple Tactics in the row that I've activated in Impermanence. So he's having an awful day. And then just to make it even better for myself. So I have Lady Debug. I can go into Code Talker. My idea was to get Code Generator and then use it to, you know, send Dotscaper and just keep, you know, using more and more materials to combo, right? But my opponent thinks that he can Maxxx me. Of course, he negated it. So it was his choice to negate it the previous turn, so it's negated and he just leaves. So that to me was you won't learn much from that because I bricked and he just made terrible decisions, but I just wanted to show that in there because I thought it was very funny. But anyway, look, if you've learned anything valuable from the previous games I showed before this bonus game, please I suppose leave a like. It's nice to see if it helps you, or if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments below. Honestly, I love to sort of help out any player that's you know, a little bit puzzled by this. So anyway, look, if you want anything else, just comment as well. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, take care.